Hi, welcome to Money Confidence. I'm Crystal Oculee. I'm the Chief Financial Strategist here at Confidence Wealth. And every week I try to bring a topic to you that's talked about and I believe it's important. So, obviously, in the midst of everything that's going on in the world and market volatility, possible recession, inflation, all of these different things, there's the typical stuff, right? That all we have conversations about making sure your portfolio is stress tested, making sure that the plan is on the right track, which this is the things that holistic clients you don't have to worry about because these are things that are done and we're running numbers to make sure you're on the right track, and all that is fantastic. But one other thing that it always prompts conversations about is people always talking about budget planning. So during the times where there might be volatility or a little bit of a recession and your portfolio may have taken a hit, people have a tendency to stop spending as much money as they maybe normally would. Maybe they don't do the luxury things. Maybe they don't travel as much or things like that, just to keep the cost level lower, especially during uncertain times, which is understandable. Now, of course, I always think if you're retired and we ran plans and we did all the numbers for that, then you definitely should be able to be okay staying on the right track. But I also think it never hurts to have a good grasp on your cash flow and understanding where every penny in a sense is going to when you are spending money. So what prompted conversations about this with some of my clients wasn't even about themselves. It was about they started thinking about their kids and talking about how most kids, grandkids really don't think about these types of things. They're, making their money, they're getting their paycheck, and they're just spending what they're spending, and they're really not looking at what's coming in, what's going out, and really having a good understanding of cash flow and budget. And I think that's really important to teach the next generation, right? Whether it be your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, having someone that is that strong voice with them, talking to them about why understanding budget planning is really key. I know I did a webinar sometime, I think it was last year or the year before, on budget planning that I think it's great that I have archived that if you like, I'll be happy to send to you that you can share with kids and your grandkids, and maybe this will help them understanding cash flow and what they should do and so forth. Now, of course, I mean, these are kids that are grown up. If you're looking at kids that are much younger, then my recommendation would be there are actually books and, for kids written, and, like there is actually coloring books even for younger kids about money and understanding checkbooks and things like that. I think that is a great conversation to have. And I wanted to bring that up because I do feel like the environment and children in general, this is very much lacking in the education system, and it's something that's really not much talked about, and making it a tradition in the family where you're teaching the next generation about things like that, I think can be extremely successful and really good for the family. And start with something small. It doesn't have to be big. Creating and helping them understanding a money diary where you talk about, hey, let's start writing down things you're spending money on. So let's say if you have a grandchild or a child that just went to college and it's their first time on their own, tell them to have a money diary with them where they're jogging down every penny, what they're spending money on, right? Whether it's books, whether it's boarding, whether it's going out with friends, just for them to get a good idea at the end of the month where majority of their expenditure and money went, and then get together with them and talk about it. I think these are such smart life lessons that a lot of the younger generation really are missing because it's not part of that conversation. Sometimes they're getting in conversations about saving the planet more than they're getting in conversation about not getting into debt, or if they're in debt, how to get out of debt. I feel like we really have to focus on the family unit a lot more, and that family unit begins with you, having those conversations with the important people in your life and having them understand it. And the more you understand your cash flow and the more you emphasize the importance of it, the better they understand. Sometimes I, meet clients that if they're making good money, they think, well, budgeting is for people that don't have money. That's not the case. You've heard me talk about this multiple times. Budget planning is even for the wealthy. It's really not called budget planning. It's called cash flow management. And cash flow management is for every asset size, and it really makes sense to really understand it. And I really encourage you so much. Education starts at home, and it starts with the mentors and the people we have in our lives. And I think this message of understanding cash flow management is so important for the next generation, because they're really going to need it, especially with, you can see prices of housing coming up, and many of them have college debt and things like that are really on that's holding them back. And if they don't get that, and they keep putting more money on their credit cards and spending more money without understanding what they're doing, or if you hand money over to your kids and they don't get the value of money, then they won't understand it. So I encourage you today to reach out to one young person in your life, or someone that you think is going to really need that. Hey, it could be a friend. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be a youngster. It can be anyone in your life that you think it will really help them understand cash flow management. And feel free to share my budget planning webinar and cash flow management with them. Hopefully that'll help them as well. Have a good one. Until next week.